So 8 years ago, I was waitressing in downtown Manhattan. I was making, I don't know, $30-something thousand a year, $40-something thousand a year. This would have never been a possibility for my life. Just taking age out of it for a moment, just from a pure financial perspective, it's just overwhelming. Right-wing news outlets that say I'm like a secret millionaire, genuinely I'm not. My dad died when I was a teenager. My mom drove school buses and cleaned houses. Like, I'm come from a working class family. And up until 8 years ago, I was waitressing in downtown Manhattan. And even in becoming a member of Congress, I've still had to really work very hard to get into a financial position to do this. And because it is a sacrifice, you have to really think, is this worth it? Because I think a lot of people, not all, a lot of people would be in a position where if money were no object, sure, why not? Just go for it. And for a lot of us, whether you get help in life or not, it's just not an option. The limitation is financial. And when you are talking about the fact that this costs pretty much the equivalent of a used car, it's a massive trade-off to make. For me, one of the trade-offs that I've made is that I don't own a house. Boomers or Gen X, they saved up for a down payment on a house. And for me, I saved up to preserve my fertility. And I'm lucky to even have been able to do that. I've been kind of pursuing this on the lower end of the cost spectrum. For some people, in a lot of places, it can be $15,000 or, $13,000 to pursue something like this all in. And so you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And that is not the same answer for every person, especially because this is not a guarantee. There's a lot of statistics out there, and also it really depends on your body, which is why one of the things I am a big advocate for, if you are like most people and financially this is a huge deal, is to do the much smaller deal, which from what I've seen costs $100 to $400 and get your fertility checked. And there's a lot of places that I've learned that do grants or will do some free clinic days for people who need help. And I would say make the decision not based on what someone on the internet is saying. Make your decision if you even want biological children. Make your decision not based on some right-wing person that's just trying to make you feel diminished, scared, and less than. Don't listen to those folks. Get the numbers on your own body. And you may find that your fertility level is pretty normal for someone your age. You may find that it is great for someone your age, which helps you make a decision around time. And you may also find that I have a friend that found out that she had a medical condition that meant that she was going into early onset menopause in her late 20s. And if she didn't know that, and there are a lot, I've had so many women come in and they didn't, and they found out, they're telling me stories about how they found out that they had really bad endometriosis, which is an issue that gets terribly underdiagnosed. And a lot of women, it takes a long time for a lot of women to get diagnosed with something like endometriosis or any other kind of condition. And they found out things about their fertility that they had no idea about. And what so many people in this space and in this public conversation want to do is make women feel fear or put our heads in the sand. Two things are true at the same time. That We should not be scared. We should not be making decisions out of fear. Biology is real, but so are our options. What I want people to feel is that they have information that is often hidden from us because we're all kind of almost taught to pursue a lot of this in private. And when we have information, this is the part that they don't like. When you have information, when you know what this is like, you are able to make a decision for yourself, free from fear. And people don't like that because fear is a big thing it's a big tool for control. And one of the biggest ways that people make women feel fear is around our reproductive freedom, is around our choices to make a family or not make a family. Fear statements like, you're getting too old. Fear statements like, if you have a kid too young, you ruined your life. Fear statements like, if you choose not to have a kid, or if you don't have a kid, you're going to die alone. There's going to be no one to take care of you. All of these statements, let me keep this on. All of these statements are fear-based statements. And I would argue that making a choice from that place is not what I want, not what I would want for myself. I want women to make these choices from a place of self-assuredness and from a place of security. I had a conversation with a very close friend of mine a few years ago, and I was talking to her about some things. And one of the things that she said to me while we were having dinner that completely reset my brain was, she said, what if you're happy in every scenario? It completely reset my brain. Well, let's not do that. Don't be weird. One of the things I've gone through in this process is coming to this place of, I'm going to be happy no matter what. And I think that is something that a lot of the people who try to control women are most afraid of, is us realizing that we can be happy in a lot of different ways. I'm running out of spots to poke here. Woof. Let's put that ice back on there. And when I think about the lack of visibility of older women, you notice that we don't, or media does a lot to kind of invisibilize women as they age. What older women prove is just that point, is that you can be happy in all sorts of different outcomes in your life. And there are women who are happy who had kids when they were very young. There are women who are happy who never got married, who got married, who got divorced, who became single moms by choice. There are happy people who are gay and trans, and so much of this conversation around control is about telling us what's going to make us happy and what's not going to make us happy. To go through this process and reflection and work to feel, you know what? I can be complete in every scenario. And I know that can cause a lot of feelings. It can be very controversial. I'm not saying that everyone should feel that way. I'm not saying everyone does feel that way. I didn't always feel that way. So before everyone starts proving the point, right, in judging that mentality, I think the point is that we get to choose what mentality we take. Sorry guys, today was a little all over the place. Okay. That one's done. This one, a little less spicy today, so it's working. In terms of side effects, let's talk side effects. I'm feeling them. Well, yeah, I'm feeling them. So last night, my sleep was better, which is good. I think one of the reasons I'm even standing like this right now is because I do feel the bloat is real. So biologically, your ovaries are usually the size of walnuts. I don't know, a walnut, well, I guess a walnut's kind of more like this. Anyway, ovaries are typically the size of walnuts inside your body. And in this process, they can grow to as big as an orange. So I'm gonna have 2 oranges. Some people even say grapefruit, which is crazy. So you're going from a walnut to a full orange, 2 of them inside your body. And so I'm feeling the bloat, or I don't know if bloat is. I'm feeling the walnuts turning into oranges. I'm feeling like a little more tired, like just doing this, I'm like feeling it. Like anywhere between a 13 to 20 day process, depending on where you are in your cycle, when you start. And the hormones have not changed yet. I have another checkup in a few days in which they might start changing the doses. But I also hear that later on, the mood stuff really starts to kick in. Speaking of mood, I was reading some of the messages and some of the stories that you all have been commenting, and feeling was more accessible to me. I think people talk about being emotional as a negative thing, but it felt more like I had more access to my feelings. And I really enjoyed that. Happiness and gratitude and care. And I feel myself being able to be affected by things in a positive way. And again, these things are very up and down, but I'm just reporting what I felt last night. And it wasn't huge, but I was just starting to feel like a little window of it. And it felt nice. So, and listen, my job can be pretty stressful. So I know what a lot of those hard emotions feel like. And so I'm just going to appreciate what I got when I got it. I've been tired, whatever, but this is what we got today. Day 5. Thank you. I was recording my shots this morning and I ran out of iPhone storage. And I have iCloud. I have an iCloud account and it is a big one. And it is supposed to upload, and it's just not. I need IT support. Day 6 of 13 days, 15 days. Because our biology is all so different and everyone's cycle is different and how you respond to medicine can be different, you don't get an exact procedure date to retrieve your eggs. What you get is a range. So I should be getting my eggs retrieved at some point the week of the 17th. I guess I didn't know what I was expecting. The response you all have given has been so incredibly overwhelming. I see people, completely independent of what I'm sharing, help each other and say, I went through this too. And people are asking each other questions and realizing that you're not alone. I also find the freak out around it pretty funny as well. You're not alone. I also find the freak out around it pretty funny as well. I'm not gonna lie. Commentator that was like, what she's doing is peddling the dangerous lie that women can have it all. Can you believe that? I find it very funny because the way of life that conservatives are trying to push out there, which is to marry young and have lots of kids at a young age, that is no threat to me. I celebrate it. If that is a choice that you are coming to freely and you feel good about it, that is no threat to me. But what I do find funny is that my choice is a threat to them. Despite the rhetoric they use and the bald eagles that they plaster all over the place, they actually really do not believe in a free country. Very aggressively do not believe in a free country because they attack everyone who exercises their freedom to choose all sorts of lives, but they attack those who choose the life that they don't lead or a life that they don't approve of. You do not need anyone's approval to lead your life and make the choices that make you happy. They talk about being pro-family, but all of a sudden, when a 36-year-old talks about having a baby, they're mad. How many male members of Congress are they freaking out about having kids after 40? The president had his last kid at 59. Life happens. And people say you're peddling this dangerous lie that women can have it all. Maybe in life you can't have everything, but here's the secret. You can have a hell of a lot. And I am very grateful for my life. I go after what I want, but maybe that's what they don't like either. Too bad for them. These are hormones that send signals to say that egg freezing is not a guarantee. And just because you pursue egg freezing does not mean that it is guaranteed to work. I find that it's been very freeing for me, even given that possibility, because I do think there's a certain amount of anxiety or stress that can come with feeling like you are in a race against biology that men simply don't have to engage in straight relationships. Who are women supposed to be having babies with? So naturally, they want you to then not only have kids young, but implicit in that, have kids young with someone much older than you. Because the piece that they aren't talking about, they aren't pressuring men to be ready to have a baby as young as the way that they are pressuring women to have a baby when they're young. The basics are more expensive than they've ever been. For a lot of people, we would have kids at a much younger age if the conditions were right, if women got paid equally, and if people in general were paid enough and things were affordable enough that you feel like you could comfortably provide for a child, people would have kids at a younger age. For all of these right-wing people who are harping about women having to and needing to have families at a young age, and again, if that's your choice, that's amazing, but they are doing nothing to make sure that men in their culture respect and value women. In fact, many of their biggest examples are of men who treat women horribly. Women are looking at how these men treat women, and female elected officials, the way they talk about people, the way they talk about women in general. That stuff doesn't stay there. I'll tell you that much. God don't like ugly. I've kind of gotten to this place where even